Welcome to week 4 of our posture and mobility work. Today, you're going to need yourself a chair and a mat, and if you can, some light dumbbells, or if you don't have them, simply just a tin can or 2 little bottles of water would be ideal just for our activation exercises later. So, let's get stuck straight in. We're going to start with hip flexor. Placing one knee on the floor, step the other foot forward and stay in a vertical position with your head, shoulders, hips and knees directly over your kneeling knee. Then tuck the hips, squeeze the bum without changing that alignment, okay, to generate a big stretch down the front of the hip. Okay, the more you tuck and the more you squeeze, the bigger the stretch down the front of the hip. Holding that, breath in, breath out. Tuck some more, squeeze some more, generate that stretch right down to the knee. Holding that little bit of a tuck, take a step forward, breath in, breath out, and now let the hip push through. And now the stretch moves from middle of the thigh up towards the top of the hip. Okay, again, don't just let your back arch. Keep your hips tucked, bum squeezed, and lean into it to generate that stretch to the top of the hip. Breath in, breath out, try and go a little bit more. And then taking it to hip flexor stretch number 3, okay? Staying in that forward lean position, take the same side arm up in the air, lean forward and reach over the top. And see if you can push the stretch towards the outside of the hip. Hold there. 5, 4, 3. Breath in. Breath out. Go a little bit more. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release out. Let's head back to the start. Okay. This time opposite knee on the floor. Stay vertical. Hip flexor stretch number 1. Tuck under and squeeze. Feel the stretch right down the main part of the quad towards the knee. Big tuck, big squeeze. The more you tuck the hip, tilt the pelvis, okay, and the more you squeeze the glute, the bigger the stretch you'll get. So that glute should be switched on, not too wobbly. All right, it should be switched on nice and tight. All right, take the lunge forwards, breath in, breath out, and sink forwards into hip flexor stretch number 2. Get that stretch higher up the thigh, right up towards the front of the hip. Breath in, breath out, push in a little bit more. Hold that stretch. And last one, breath in, breath out, push in. And then again, we're going to change to that last one, hip flexor number 3, with that forward lean still there. Same side hand up and over, reach over the top and get the stretch towards the outside of the hip. Breath in, breath out, lean forwards and over. Breath in, breath out, a little further and over. All right, 3 hip flexor stretches in one there. All right, let's move on to the adductor. So we're going to stay in a kneeling position. We're going to come down to hands on the floor and find our neutral spine. Take one foot out to the side and place the sole of the foot flat on the floor. Okay, so making sure that the sole of the foot is flat on the floor, not the edge or the toe pointing out to the side. It's facing straight on the head with the sole of the foot flat on the ground. Keeping the back flat. Don't let yourself round your back, right? Sit back your hips towards your heels, okay, till you get the stretch on the inside of the thigh, and you're going to rock forwards and backwards. Core in tight, back flat. Sit back, hold a stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and repeat 2 more times. Sink and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and last one. Sink and hold. Let's switch it over to the opposite side. Knee on the floor, flat back, happy cat back position, sole of the foot flat on the ground with the toe pointing in the direction that I am. Okay, again, not out to the side, facing straight ahead. And then sitting the hips back onto the heels to get the stretch in the adductor. Okay, really important that you don't allow yourself to round your back, because then you lose the stretch. Keep the back flat and sit back. Feel the stretch in the adductor, and then move forwards and go again. Sit, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down, sink, and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down, last one. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax out. Okay, staying on this all fours position, we're going to do a hip circle. It's a bit like doing breaststroke swimming, okay, in an all fours position. So you lock your core in nice and tight, you lift your knee out to the side, then push my heel back as far as I can behind me, locking the knee out, and bring the knee down. And we're going to continue that circle. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to roll your torso open. Keep your hip down and push the knee out. Reach back and in slowly. Continue. We're going to do 3 more. Out to the side. Push back, behind. Squeeze the glute. And back down. Last one on this side. 2 more, sorry, on this side. Lift up. Reach back, control down, last one, knee up, and push back, and control down. Good, if you're doing that right and keeping your torso still, you'll feel a good work in the core as well, having to stabilize everything. So, perfect rectangle, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, okay? Core in nice and tight, neutral spine in the back. Hold the core, brace your core nice and tight. Keep your torso still. Lift the knee up. Push back. Squeeze the glute. Control in. Lift up. Push back. Control. 2. Brace. Lift. Reach. 3. 4. Last one. 5. Super. Alright, moving down to be on our back. Lying flat on the floor. Heels tucked up with your heels underneath the crack of your knees. From there, before we've done the bridges, we've looked to keep the torso as a rigid structure and really focus on the hip workout. This time I want to mobilize your spine. So what I want you to do is I want you to roll your hips so that you're lifting your hips off the floor before your lower back. Then you lift your next vertebrae, then your next vertebrae, then your next vertebrae, then your next vertebrae, right up through to your thoracic, up, and then the same on the way down. So from here, lower this bit down onto the floor, then the next rib, then the next rib, then the next spine, next spine, next spine, next spine, and then you let your hips go at the very last moment. Okay, so roll-ups, bridge roll-ups. Roll the hips, roll the spine all the way up, and roll it 1 vertebrae at a time on the way back down. That's 2. We're going to do 3 more, nice and slow. Tuck, lift, rolling each part of the spine up, control down, tummy pulled in tight, holding that, and then let the hips roll at the end. 2 more to go. Roll, lift each vertebrae at a time, and then roll each vertebrae down in the opposite way. Hips the last thing to drop to the floor. Here we go. Last one. roll, lift, hold, slowly down each vertebrae at a time, and relax. Fantastic. The next one is coming up, and we're going to go into a new bridge position. This time your hands are on the floor directly underneath your shoulders. Okay. I'm going to lift my hips up off the floor into a bridge position supported by my hands. Once I've lifted my hips up, I lift my arm up to reach to the sky, but continue to push my hips up as high as I can. So I've now got a straight line from my top finger to my bottom finger, okay, with not my hips dropped down here, with my hips pushed as high as I can. Then I come down and I go to the opposite side. Lift hips, hand up, push hips, push chest open, head back, and control down. That's 1 each side, 4 each side to go. Lift, push, and control down. 2. 2. Good. In that bridge, when you lift your hips up, really look to activate the glutes and squeeze. Head and chest up. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. Last one. And control down. Super. Okay, so we're going to go into a stretch now for the upper back and thoracic spine, and this is where you need your chair. So, I'm going to bring my chair in, place it in front of me. I'm going to place my elbows close together, ideally directly in front of my shoulders. So don't let your elbows be outside your shoulders. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and slide my hands down towards my back. So, one elbow at a time on the chair, right at the front edge. Then I'm going to try and get my head just about fits between my arms, right down, and then my hands sink down my back, and I'm trying to get my chest as close to the floor as I can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sink. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sink. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, slowly up and out of it. Okay. We're going to go into the same stretch, but we're going to do it a bit more active. So we're going to come right back to this position each time, and then try and get down lower into it every time we go. Breath in. Breath out and sink. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. 2 more times. Sink and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. Last one. Right down, chest to the floor, and hands down the spine. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release out of that. Okay, next of all, we need one of your tin cans. We can get rid of the chair. And with one of the tin cans, you're going to lie on your side, support your hand underneath your head with your shoulder right on the ground, tuck your heels up as if you're going to do a set of clams, and then take your tin can or your light dumbbell and hold it right in front of your belly button. So this is your start. Next start activation is pull your shoulder blade back in together, hold that shoulder blade there, and now pull the tin can up as high as you can and lower it down slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't let it touch your tummy, and lift and slowly down. Now when I do this, I'm not allowing myself to roll back. I'm keeping my chest forwards. I'm pushing the tin can behind me as far as I can. Slowly down, keeping that elbow close to my hip as best I can. Lift up and over, so don't allow the arm to straighten. Okay, we want to get those little rotator cuff muscles, okay, right deep in the shoulder area, okay, as they work on rotating my arm to the outside. Good. 3 more to go. Pull and slowly down. Pull, slowly down. Pull and slowly down. Now, switch it over to the opposite side. Lying on your side, hand under your head, heels tucked up, elbow on top of the hip, weight at the belly button, pull open and slowly down. 1. And slowly down. Again, keep that chest closed and pushed forwards. Don't let yourself rotate open through your torso. Just that shoulder pushing back as hard as you can. Even with dumbbells, you won't really go much over 5 kilos with this. Usually 2 or 3 is more than enough to get the stimulus and burny sensation at the back of the shoulders, working your way up to 12, 15 reps. Good. 1 to go. Fantastic. All right, so we've turned on those muscles in the shoulders. Now to go between the shoulder blades. So you're going to come onto one knee, a bit like we did for the hip flexor stretch, but we're going to hinge at the hip and let our chest lie on our leg. All right, but don't let yourself collapse. Keep tension in your back and your back flat. Okay, holding the tin cans, squeeze out into a T and a W, squeezing the shoulder blades together. T, W, see if you can get the tin cans out of sight. In other words, out of your peripheral vision. Okay, pull the elbows back, pull the hands back. Try and get rid of the side of those dumbbells without, or the weight, the jars, without actually moving your torso. So your chest shouldn't be moving up and down. Your chest is staying dead still, back nice and flat. Okay, we've got 4 more to go. Squeeze. Good. 3. Squeeze. Good. Squeeze. 1 last one. Lift and squeeze. Super. All right. We're moving on to an exercise called a floor angel, or a wall angel. So move over to the wall. Sit with your hips right against the wall, okay, and knees a little bent. So hips against the wall. Don't sit with your hips away. Hips against the wall, shoulders against the wall, head against the wall. So you must have those 3 contacts the whole way through the exercise. Then you're going to get your elbows onto the wall, okay. Now try and get your knuckles to touch the wall without losing those connections. All right, so what I don't want is your head shooting forward or your back coming away from the wall, okay? Elbows, knuckles, and slide them up then as high as you can without losing forearm contact with the wall. And then you may not get there. If you can't get there, get as close as you can to the wall and then slide up and down. Your aim is to try and get there. So elbows to the wall, knuckles to the wall, and slide. We're going to do this for 40 seconds. All right, time on. Try and keep those forearms on the wall and your hips, shoulders and head all on the wall. My watch isn't actually running, so I can't see the 40 seconds. So we'll do 3 more reps here. Reach up into that Y position. Back down. Oh, last one. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Oh, good. Super. And the last one is just standing up. Take a standing position. Feet nice and square, straight underneath the hips. All right. Just like we did with the roll-ups, we're going to roll down, starting with the neck. Chin to chest. Roll. Squeeze your tummy muscles and round your back as best you can. Roll down, roll down, roll down, roll down, roll down. Roll down, roll down, roll down. And then roll back up. Remember, tuck the hips, roll, roll. Roll the spine up, roll the spine up, roll the spine up, leave the chin in till the last second and pop it up. We're going to do 2 more. Roll, roll, tighten that tummy, tighten the tummy, tighten the tummy, roll forwards, roll down, nearly there. Keep that chin tucked in, rolled spine, roll it out 1 vertebrae at a time, all the way to the top. Pop the head and neck up. Last one, breath in, breath out, tuck, and roll, 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 all the way down, all the way down. Good, chin to chest, locked in. Big stretch in the hamstrings, and then pull up slowly, round, 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 and then at the top, shoulders back, chin up and in and hold. Good work, folks. Thanks for being with me today. See you soon.